So children, till now we have discussed how the idea of nationalism emerged in France and how the French Revolution given the idea to whole world of nationalism. Now, what is the idea of nation state and how the formation of nation states were in European society, that we have to discuss. To discuss about the European society, we have to divide the timeline before the French Revolution, how the society was, and after the French Revolution, how the society was. What was the formation of society? So that is called the pre-period of French Revolution, and it is divided into two parts, that is pre-period and post-period. So let us divide the timeline and let's discuss now about the pre-period of French Revolution, that is from 1750 till the further till the 1789. Okay, so during this time before French Revolution, you know the French Revolution time was 1789. Before the French Revolution, that time there were no nation states in the European society. Children, now pay attention here. I am talking about here whole European society. I am talking here about the Europe society, not about the France. Okay, so in the European society there were no nation states. So what is the meaning of nation states? That we will understand first. So definition says that people in the particular area with the same language, history, tradition, culture and government with the agreement of each and every people. In these all the things, in whichever regions we find, that nations are called, that regions are called the nation state. Means for the formation of nation state, there should be the history, common language, common tradition and culture. As well, the government should be formed by the agreement of each and every person of that particular area, particular region. So that is called the nation state. So this type of nation states were not there in the European society. Means they were in the particular area, there were no same culture, there were no same history, languages also, and there were many clashes in between the people because their cultures were different. So why this was? Because there was a big diversity. There was a big diversity in the European society. There were no nation state in the Europe. Okay, for example, we have the Habsburg Empire. In the Habsburg Empire, there were different type of people who were having different languages and different culture. So that is an example for you. Okay, now if we have to discuss the pre-period of 1750, from 1750 to 1789 till the French Revolution. So we have to see the society. So that time, I have already told you, we are discussing here about the European society, not about France. So European society was divided into three parts. Firstly, it was divided into two groups, and then after the new third group that was emerged. Okay, so first group, that is aristocracy, that were in that group the rich people were considered. Okay, second group, it was of peasantry, and the third one where it was emerged lastly after some time, that was the middle class group. So you can consider this all three groups as we had now in France Revolution, that first state, second state, third state. In that same way we had here the different groups. Only one we can say that one was missing, that was clergy group. Okay, so here the aristocracy group, peasantry group and middle class, there were three groups. So how was the society? Aristocracy, if we will talk about the aristocracy people, they were land owning people. Means they had the big piece of land with them for cultivation, and they all were speaking what? French languages. They were living in the small groups as they were very much rich, so they had their own colonies, their own apartments, like that. So they were in the small groups, and their family were connected by the marriages. Means in between that culture only they were getting marriage and married, and that's why they were connected by the marriages and different type of festival too. Okay, and then they had the common way of life, means like the others. Means as they had the land, so they had the money also, so common life they were living. common life means in the European countries we can see the standard, we know the standard of the European countries. So common life like the others they were living. Okay, then we have the peasantry group. This group, they were the large number of peasants, farmers. This group was the large number. In the large number means majority of population was there in that group. So, and that people, many of them they were not having land, and many of them they were having the less land, and that's why it was their duty to look after the aristocracy land. Means those who were landless and those who were very less landholder farmers, they had to look after the land of whom, of aristocracy. Means those who were rich people, their land they has to look after, on their land they has to cultivate. Okay, it was a type of service for the aristocracy, okay, by peasantry. So indirectly we can say they were working as a servant. Who were working as a servant? Peasantry group were working as a servant of aristocracy. And after some time the third group emerged, that was the middle class. We know in third state the middle class educated people group was there. In the same way, that same group we can see in whole Europe society, that was the middle class group. So in this group, who were there? This group consists of whole educated and job holder people. Yes. Now this whole, now further whatever we are going to discuss, that whole we will continue with the middle class group. In the European society, this group have a main role, a main part for the nation building, okay, for the formation of nations. So middle class came up with the idea of nation unity. Middle class people, as I told you, ki they were what they were educated, and they were understanding the value of nationalism and liberty. That's why they came up with the idea of nation unity. Means now they wanted the nation to be united. We want, means these people wanted the nation for themselves. That nation should have the same language, the same culture, their own national anthem, and many things, so on. So that type of nation these people wanted. And liberal nationalism. Now what is the nation unity and what is the liberal nationalism, that we will be understanding. Nation unity, unification of nations with the same language and culture. This already I have told you. And liberal nationalism, what is the meaning of liberal nationalism? Freedom of individuals, means each and every person should be free and should be independent. There should be no force of any type of king and any type of government on the people. So the person should be free for themselves. They should be free from all type of services. Means services in the sense whatever services the people were doing for aristocracy. There should be equality before the law. Means in front of law, in the eyes of law, nobody should be rich and nobody should be poor. Means all should be equal. Government with the people of agreement, means with agreement of each and every people. Maybe that person is poor, maybe that person is rich. With the agreement of each and every person, there should be government. The formation of government should be there. Okay. End of the autocracy and clerical privileges, means whatever privileges were given to clergies and aristocracy. Okay, there is autocracy in the sense the rule of someone, the forceful rule of the high class people, the rich people. Okay, that was the autocracy. By whom it was? It was by the aristocracy group. Okay, so the autocratic government, autocratic force they wanted to remove, and the privileges which were given to clergy people, that they wanted to remove. So this type of liberal, means liberty, that they wanted. Who wanted? The middle class. Who wanted? The middle class. Yes. And representatives government with the constitution. There should be government. That government should be with the representative, means from the common people, the person who want to stand for election, who want to become the government, that person should be elected by the common people, means from amongst them only that representative should be, and the government should be with the constitution, means with the help of constitution only the country should run. This type of demands were put by whom? By the middle class. And these ideas were not getting succeeded. Why? Because of their some problems. What were the problems that we are going to discuss? So that problems were: property holders, only the man about 20 years were allowed to vote, means all the men were not allowed to vote, means those people will have property, they only are allowed to what? To vote. It means what? Those people, those poor peasantry people, those who are not having land, those who are not having property, so they will not vote. Automatically the government will be formed by whom then? Yes, the high class, the aristocracy group. And that is what? It is not correct way. Yes, that's why this problem was there. And the trade restriction by the state to state, means from one state to another state there were restrictions for trade. This I am talking before the French Revolution. During the French Revolution, by the end of the French Revolution, we have seen, after that Napoleon rule came, and that time property rights and the restrictions were removed and property rights were given. Okay. So before the Napoleonic rule, we are seeing the situation, means that time there were restrictions on trade. That restrictions should be removed from one state to another. Whatever restrictions on the trade were there, that should be removed. That problem the society was facing. And another problem, that was voting rights for everybody. That problems were faced. So until and unless that problems will not be solved, till that there will be no democracy and there will be no constitution, and the government will be not formed by common people. That problems were there. So they had, that society of middle class had to remove these two problems, and how that problem will be removed, that we will be discussing in the upcoming video. Thank you.